Hi, I'm Skippy, and this is my, you know what, I'll let her introduce herself. I do know her name though.
I'm Taylor, but that might be his cover for forgetting my name.
No, I totally did not forget your name.
Whatever. Okay.
The cringe is already off the Richter scale at this point. Skippy back again with one of his infamous E-dates, or his docu-dates. I don't know what he calls them, but this is one of the more intriguing dates that Skippy goes on, because the other ones are hard to really say that they are dates, because you either have somebody that's planning on going on a date immediately after his date with her, and then you had other ones where he just shows up at that one chick's house with the Klondike bars. So this one, it seems like Taylor actually is interested in going on a date with him. However, her name is Taylor. Already not off to a great start. I've never heard that name in my entire life, but she seems nice, and she's a decently attractive person. You know, there were always those comments about how in the world is Skippy pulling any attractive females, because look at Skippy and look at how he behaves. I really don't get it. I don't understand it. Maybe it's some Mormon cheat code that the rest of us haven't been able to hack into. Regardless, Skippy met her at a Halloween ball. That's right. And he turned on the charm. He was able to really just get her flowing and thinking, you know what? Yeah, let me give Scott Jessup a chance. That's a good idea. So we're going to be going through their date. There are some very cringy moments throughout it, and he really just fumbles the bag. So without further ado, let's get into it.
This is my new friend Taylor with a T, right?
With a T, yes.
Taylor with a T. And Taylor likes politics.
Correct.
And she also likes music.
Very much.
Quite a bit. When I showed up at the place, I'm like, okay, so I've got this kind of fun idea. We've got letter, color, number date, which is where you pick a letter, color, or number, and then you, and then whatever you pick is what you do the rest of the date. Well,
that was a terrible explanation, but it was kind of cool.
You know, there are some subtle jabs that she throws at him throughout this video, and it makes me really question her intentions. But I think she's more of the, you know, she's able to keep up the mental fortitude for joking and ribbing him. It's a question of whether or not Skippy's going to be able to understand that or take it too personally. You know, I think we can all assume how that's going to turn out. But essentially, it seems like they just got paired up somehow at the dance. It really is irrelevant. Who really cares? But I don't even know what he was dressed up as. You had the dude in the background looking at the camera immediately from the start. Just an oddball showing going on out here in Utah. Either way, Skippy, best of luck on your date, buddy.
Said at the beginning, would you like us to video this? And she's like, no, that does not sound good. What was your reason for not wanting to?
It sounded awkward, actually.
Oh, Skipster, my man. He just like can't fathom why people think it's so weird for him to film these things. It's like you're putting them into like a fish tank, you know, when you should be trying to learn about them or impress them or whatever. Instead, you're just making your own documentary, and they just happen to be a character within that setting. And she's completely right. However, she does give the approval, says, hey, that's a-okay, Skipster. We're gonna allow you to film this bad boy. And they're gonna go on such a lovely first date. You know, sometimes I hit myself in the head and think, why didn't I think of doing this particular date? You know, it's preposterous. Maybe I'm not as charming. Maybe I don't have as much oomph, enough charisma as Skippy. I can always keep trying, though.
I guess 3 things. 1, she knows we're going to a dollar store right now. 2, she knows that we're gonna eat at Ruby Tuesdays. And 3, she knows that later she has a date gift coming to her.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
What she does not know...
She doesn't know is that she's gonna end up in a body bag, thrown in some river at the end of the night. Maybe, you know, maybe her face cut off and put onto the face of Skippy's. Maybe something like that. I don't know. She probably doesn't know that that's gonna come. Either way, I don't know what Skippy's obsession with going to the dollar store is. I mean, I know it because he's poor. But that's too on the nose. You know, you could go to a park. You can do free activities. You don't have to go to the dollar store. His whole idea is that they're gonna like buy gifts for each other and then exchange them from the dollar store. And it's like, why would anybody ever want anything from the dollar store? I'm sorry, but like 99% of that stuff is just trash. It's just garbage. And we'll see it here too. I don't think I'll fixate on it too much, but then they'll go to Ruby Tuesdays, which is actually kind of impressive because I would have pegged Skippy as, hey, let's go to Little Caesars, since, you know, in the past he's gone and gotten Klondike bars for a chick. So I guess that's a step up there. And then once again, he can't help himself, but she might be in for another treat. Whatever that means, you know, petrifying. If I'm her, I'm like, this is probably the worst decision I've ever made in my entire life.
See what I get.
No, if you need to use an extra $1 to buy like a bag, or if you can just get it a short person. Did you see that little guy? Yes, that's cool. Just making sure that
Skippy is so pissed. He is so pissed. Why did that little kid ruin his shot? Well, maybe it's because you're filming in the middle of the aisle, you idiot. You absolute buffoon. You know, clearly he has a very big ego of himself. He's very narcissistic. He likes to come off as this nice, funny, goofy type of dude, but he's extremely narcissistic in his videos, and this is just one instance of that. I mean, he's always hyperfixated with the camera, and this is one of them. You're in a public place. You're filming in a store, all right? You're not allowed to shut down aisles, right? And you know he went and found this aisle because it's a pretty decent backdrop for what's going on. Just like the kid will make a reappearance later. It's like 6 or something like that. Skippy's pissed. He saw how she reacted immediately after that and changed his tone to, oh yeah, that little person, aka child. Yeah, he's just, that's fine. He can walk by. Who cares? No big deal.
Okay, well, if you find me and you want to help out some more,
Just find something that's black.
I have to buy 5 things that fit with the theme black. What's your name?
Michelle.
Michelle. I'm Taylor. It's nice to meet you. Excuse me?
So this is the little kid from before. Taylor just comes sneaking up on him and terrifies him. But you're really getting, I mean, this is a dollar store, so I can't really peg this solely on Utah, but you're really getting some interesting characters out of this place. They're just popping up left and right, and they all have something slightly to contribute to it. It feels like we're in some like weird alternate universe. It's like you're at Waffle House at like 2 in the morning, you know, that type of environment, some like liminal type space. Either way, Taylor's in control. She's gonna showcase what she's gonna get Skippy, and it's just like they've only known each other for like a week. So it's like, how can you even make anything personable? And like for whatever reason, Skippy's like, oh, like, let's do color based just like we did at the dance. So her color's like black themed, so she has to get him like black themed things. I don't know, it's weird. It's just not anything I would ever think to do on a first date.
If I get him something frozen, it would melt when we go to dinner, which I'm starving, by the way. Whose idea was it to do dinner second? Yeah, his.
Right, she's already roasting him. Can't help it. I mean, these are the subtle jabs that I was talking about before. I mean, yeah, the whole concept of getting gifts, bringing them to the restaurant you're going to, and then exchanging them is so odd. Because, like, literally how this could have been structured, if he was forcing himself to film this, and he's like, I'm going to film this no matter what. You can film that car scene, you go to the restaurant, you don't film in there. Maybe you film your walk-in, you know, and maybe your walk-out, something like that. You have another little car talk, then you go to the Dollar Tree, and then you exchange gifts at her apartment or your apartment or whatever, or your mom's basement, whatever it is. Because then you could actually have a conversation with her at dinner instead of filling that space with giving each other garbage. Literal trash. I don't know. I mean, this video is like 8 years old or something like that, so obviously this advice is null. But, man, Skippy, you could have avoided all of this mess a long time ago.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good. What's your name?
Jody.
Jody?
Yes.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Taylor.
Nice to meet you, Smiley.
He just called her Smiley. Nice to meet you, Smiley. That's not her name. His name's Jody? Is that a dude's name? I don't know. Nice to meet you, Smiley. I don't know. You got trench coat man walking around, and like, I went to art school, air quotes, so like this dude looks like any number of art professors that exist in a university. He's like the perfect caricature of what they look like. White hair, slightly stylish glasses, giving off a little bit of an odd vibe, a little bit weird, a little bit creepy. Who knows? But we're gonna move on to them being at the restaurant, because Skippy also said when they got to the dollar store that they weren't going to shop together, so they're going to be independent while they're in there, and then when they go to check out, they're not going to show each other. And he said, you can just come meet me at the car. This guy has zero riz, no suave. It's pathetic. And no wonder he's the 40-year-old virgin.
So the first gift that I got for you.
Oh, a doggy bowl.
A doggy bowl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just absolutely brutal. Look at that shit-eating grin on her face right there. She knows what she did. Getting him a doggy bowl. He doesn't have a dog. Like, why did she get it for him? It doesn't make any sense. There's no correlation. She thinks it's hilarious. I also think it's hilarious to get him a doggy bowl, because his reaction is priceless. You know, he could have said way worse things. But I want you to take note of that bag she has. You know, it's black themed. It's kind of fun. I don't know. Keep note of that for when we get to Skippy's present, because his explanation is not as good.
Actually, I think it should be important to point out that
Oh, yeah.
the reason we were going to go to Ruby Tuesdays is because he had a gift card for $25 to Ruby Tuesdays.
To Ruby Tuesdays.
And as we're sitting here, completely finished with our meal,
Done.
he goes to get his Ruby Tuesdays gift card, and what is it?
Because that's how you're going to pay. Oh, but it happens to be a gift card for Ruby River Steakhouse in Utah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And for some reason they didn't want to accept it.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really understand.
Bogus.
But Kelsey was really cool about it.
So I cut out that clip of him with his presents because it was all basically garbage. But his bag was basically just a Christmas themed polar bear thing. And he's like, oh, I got that bag because it was big. But her bag was like the same size as his. It's nitpicking. Either way, he has the wrong gift card to the restaurant. So do you think he could afford this meal? Do you think he paid for it? I don't know. He's always begging for money. He never had enough money. Part of me thinks that they probably split the bill here, and it's only going to tank the date from this point forward.
Alright, so we just got done watching one of my favorite movies ever, which was...
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod.
You watch Hot Rod with a chick on your first date. And I'm a fan of the Lonely Island boys. I like Andy Samberg. I'm not a huge fan of Hot Rod, but at the very least, I think Skippy likes the movie so much because it's basically a cooler version of him. Some like socially maldeveloped man becomes obsessed with dirt bikes and stuff. That's basically Skippy if he was slightly cooler, and that's why he likes the movie so much. But at the same time, I mean, look at her face there, man. Her face is telling the story. She just is like, this dude, I don't know how old Taylor is. You know, Skippy's probably like mid-30s, young 30s at this point. I would guess she's probably like late 20s. She looks pretty good for her age. Skippy does not. He looks like your next door neighbor that has lived there for 30 years, you know. Obviously, he can't afford a house, so we're going to have to use some imagination at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he
camera
watched
shy.
Hot Rod with us.
Yeah. So we watched it, the three of us. So it
And
wasn't the most romantic thing, but it's not a romantic movie.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's no way that that could have been. So it's totally, it's
but
pretty
we
okay.
did say,
Oh my god. The brutality that she can get across with still seeming nice is so ridiculous. Yeah, there's no way for that to be romantic at all, so no worries. Really cuts you to the core. It's like when you send a risky text and you get the bad response back. That's rough. But I think this is at like her apartment or something, but her brother's there for whatever reason, so they all watched it together. This is like the weirdest situation, dude. It would help if he had his own place to take her to, but she probably wanted some protection to stay as far away from Skippy as possible, and for that, I completely understand that.
okay, well that actually brings us to this. Okay, so if we go on a date again, are we going out just as friends, or is there is this a date? This next thing we go out as?
Well, if we were going just as friends, it wouldn't be titled date. It would be titled hanging out.
Okay, so ball in your court, what would you like to do? Would you like to hang out next, or would you like to go on a date next?
I would be fine with either.
What's your preference? Like, if you had to pick one, which would you pick?
Well, do I have to answer this on camera?
Yes.
On camera? Really?
Is there a difference between on camera? Would it be different if it wasn't on
Well,
camera?
yes, because see, this is documented, and I'm gonna have to go back and like look at this and watch this and remember like.
But don't you think your honest feeling? You know what? Never mind. I think I know the answer. Right?
That like minute-long conversation is just brutal from start to end. Why do I have to tell you what my opinion is? I don't want to have to come back and watch this video to see what I said. I mean, that's very clear. She follows us up by saying, yeah, sure, we'll go on a date. But, like, obviously this never comes to anything. We never hear from her again, I don't think. It's just, it's brutal. She explains to him the difference between a date and a hangout between friends. He didn't seem to completely understand that very well. It's just, this Taylor girl, is she still, well, at this point, she's probably like mid-30s, so past my expiration date. But hey, if at this point back in time you had seen this video and she was still single, she's a catch. She's a big catch. And somehow the virgin Skippy was able to catch her in his net, and then obviously released her, or she fought her way out of the net very easily. Just brutal.
This week?
We're not doing that on camera.
We're not, but will you at least say what I won from you?
Okay, so we had a bet.
Yep. Tell the bet.
I was grocery shopping, and he called me while I was grocery shopping, so we were on the phone while I was grocery shopping.
Sure.
And he said, what do you think your groceries are going to come up to? And I said, about $60. And he said, I think it's going to be less than $60. So he said, if I was closer...
Then I should get something, right?
That he should get something. If he was closer, he should get something. So he said he would wash my he would wash my dishes if I won. And he said that if he won, he wanted a hug.
What kind of hug? I wanted a big hug.
Dude, he's such a creep. He's such a weirdo creep. Like, he has the impression of women that, like, a kindergartner would have, you know? Because, so he follows us up, he gives her a bag of Hershey Hugs, which I guess is I don't know, it's an off-brand of Hershey Kisses or whatever. He gives her that. He has, like, the mindset of a kindergartner during, like, Valentine's Day. Because he, like, tries to buy their love all the time, but because he's poor and because he's cheap, he can't afford anything that's worthwhile. So, like, if she was, like, a gold digger or interested in him giving her gifts all the time, he can't get her anything that's worthwhile. Like, oh, cool, you got me a $2.50 bag of Hershey Kisses. Cool, thanks. Alright, I could afford that myself. You know, I understand it's the thought that counts or whatever, but I don't know. His like inclination to always want to touch these women, it's just, I understand it. in the concept of how lonely and depressing his life is, but like, you have to tone that down, dude. Especially coming from your point of view, like, as a man, you just can't be having that going on. Lastly, I would not want Skippy to wash my dishes. I feel like he would do an absolutely horrible job. That's a no for me, dog.
These are my hugs.
That's our date. That was it.
Okay, you can stop now.
How do I turn this off?
That's a good.
Braylon is having trouble, but
It's a good end to the date.
yeah. See, look to the.
One of the best dates of your life.
No.
Oh, God, Kaylee, whatever your name is, dude. Show some mercy for my man. He's just sitting there like a little kid. He just can't. What a perfect way to close out this date. Just perfect. Kaylee, if you're out there somewhere, shout out to you, girl. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're running out of Skippy content since he just posts absolute trash nowadays. But I'm sure I'll jump back in the dumpster in a month or two, something like that. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me a like. Don't leave Skippy a like. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.